This is K02R. Please stand by while I set up a repeater for net mode.
PL off.
The Denver Radio Club net will begin at 8:30. This is K02R. QSD from the Denver Radio Club. Welcome to the Denver Radio Club net, being held on repeater W0TX. This is a meeting held on air every Sunday evening at about 8:30 p.m. Good evening, my name is Jim. My call sign is Kilo Zero Tango Oscar Romeo. I'll be your net control station transmitting from Littleton, Colorado. If there is any emergency or priority traffic during this net, say break at any pause, and the net will be suspended until the emergency or priority traffic is completed. This net is for Denver Radio Club members and all interested radio amateurs who are here to share information concerning any ham-related activities. Regular meetings of the Denver Radio Club are held on the third Wednesday of every month at 7 p.m. And with the COVID-19 restrictions, we have virtual meetings, and we conduct that using Google Meets. And the address for that website you can get on our website, www.w0tx.org, or if you're on our mail list, you'll get an email that has the address for that website as well. And our next meeting will be on April the 21st. An Elmer session is held at 6 p.m. just prior to our monthly meeting. This session addresses any amateur radio questions that you might have. So whether you're new in amateur radio or interested in some new application of amateur radio, this is a session where you can get help. Also, every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m., except the third Wednesday when our monthly meeting is held, there's a learning net held on 145.490 megahertz and 448.625 megahertz. This is another area where you can find answers for your amateur radio-related questions. As a general interest club, we provide emergency communication for the Salvation Army, City of Wheat Ridge Police Department, City of Lakewood Police Department, West Metro Fire District, and St. Anthony's West Hospital. We're always looking for members who would like to participate in this support. And please contact our club president if you'd like to help. Our current president is Jerry Vilhauer, W0GV, and Jerry's telephone number is 303-467-0223. The Denver Radio Club website address is www.w0tx.org. Again, Jerry's telephone number is 303-467-0223. The Denver Radio Club also participates in the ARRL Volunteer Examiner Program. But again, with the COVID-19 restrictions, we have to find a large enough facility that we can actually conduct testing so we have enough separation of those taking tests. So we don't have testing as frequently as we normally do. But we try and get the dates out on this website, or this net, and also on our club website. So you can check those or listen here. We try to get those dates out, like I say. If you have other questions regarding VE testing, you can contact our VE team lead, Tom Koshalski, KC2CAG. His number is 720-284-1911. This is the Denver Radio Club Net, W0TX, and this is K02R serving as net control. Are there any special announcements or bulletins for the net this evening? If so, please call now.
November 0 Delta Bravo Sierra in 0 dBs.
And net control recognizes in 0 dBs. Go ahead with your traffic.
Thank you. The Laurel Patriot Net has added some testing sites and dates, and before the FCC starts charging for the tests, it is advised if you are ready to test, the tests are free. You can find the sessions on hamstudy.org/sessions/W0PCT. Whiskey 0 Papa Charlie Tango. And I can sometimes monitor these frequencies to answer questions. This is in 0 dBs, back to net.
All right, thanks very much. And we'll get you checked in here as well. Can I get a name, please?
This is Don in Green Valley Ranch. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Don. And before I move on, do I have any other special announcements or bulletins for the net? If so, please call now. Before regular check-ins, I'd like to welcome and invite any visiting radio amateurs to check into the Denver Radio Club net this evening. During this net, we disable the requirement for the 100 Hz PL repeater access tone, so you can use either 145.490 megahertz with a minus 600 kilohertz offset, or 448.625 megahertz with a minus 5 megahertz offset. Are they visiting radio amateurs who'd like to check into the Denver Radio Club net tonight? If so, please call now. Next, I'd like to welcome and invite any newly licensed or recently upgraded radio amateurs to check in. Please call now. I'll now take regular check-ins in groups. Please let me know if you have traffic when you check in, and I'll get back to you. First, radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters A through E, Alpha through Echo. Please call now.
Go 10 Delta Papa Romeo, all in Aurora.
In 0 ETV, Lance, Aurora, no traffic.
W0CHT Jeff in Lakewood, no traffic.
KA5 DKS, lock in Arvada.
Whiskey Delta 6, Delta Oscar Kilo, Rich in Arvada, no traffic. Good evening.
Alpha Fox 0 Echo, Alex Bromfield.
Net Control, like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-ins. K0 DPR Paul, N0 ATV Lance, KB0 CHT Jeff, KA5 DKS Ken, WD6 DOK Rich, and AF0E Alex. Make one more call for radio amateurs. This call suffixes begin letters A through E, Alpha through Echo. Please call now.
Kilo Charlie 0, Charlie Zulu. Thornton.
And Net Control, like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-ins. KC0 CZ Bob. And let's move on down the alphabet. Radio amateurs, whose call suffixes begin letters F through J, Foxtrot through Juliet. Please call now.
W0TV, Jerry Westminster.
Kilo 6 Hotel, Juliet Victor, K6H JV, Tom, Arvada, no traffic.
Alpha 0 Juliet Kilo, AA 0 JK, Fred in Arvada. Good evening, no traffic.
Net Control, like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-ins. W0GV Jerry. Then I have apparently a double, or at least I could not hear the call sign, and all I heard at the end was "and Jerry." Could you come back with that, please? Number 8, please. Well, it sounds like you got tone on the front, and so you have to pause for a couple seconds to let that clear. So I didn't copy anything that time, but I did hear you key up, and I heard some audio, but I couldn't copy it. Could try it again, please? All right, next I had K6HJV Tom and AA0JK Fred. Let me make a second call for radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters F through J, Foxtrot through Juliet. Please call now.
W0TX Repeater.
All right, we'll move on down the alphabet. Radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters K through O, Kilo through Oscar. Please call now.
Kilo 0 Lima, Papa Romeo, Lanier and Inglewood.
Whiskey 0 Lima Foxtrot, Orland and Golden, no traffic, over. Kilo 0 Kilo Papa Sierra, Kevin Lakewood.
Net Control would like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-ins. K0LPR Lanier, WW0LF Orland, and K0KPS Kevin. Make a second call for radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters K through O, Kilo through Oscar. Please call out.
Kilo 0 Lima Alpha India, K0 LAI, Larry and Lakewood.
Kilowatt Delta 0 Charlie Golf Fox, Kenny, currently mobile in Lafayette.
And Net Control would like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-ins. K0LAI Larry, and K0's Charlie Golf Fox. I believe the name was Charlie. Is that correct?
KB0CGF, Kilowatt Delta 0 Charlie Golf Fox. Name here is Kenny.
All right, we got that corrected. KD0 Charlie Golf Fox Kenny. Sorry, it's kind of broken and noisy there, but we got it straightened out. Thank you. We move on down the alphabet, and radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters P through T, Papa through Tango. Please call now.
Whiskey Bravo 2, Sierra Hotel Romeo, Stan in Denver, no traffic.
Kilo Echo 0 Romeo Victor Zulu John in Lakewood, no traffic.
November 0 Tango Romeo Papa Jim in Lakewood. Good evening.
Kilo Bravo 9er Quebec Delta Golf KB9 QDG Carl Lakewood, no traffic.
Net Control would like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-ins. WB2 SHR Stan, KE0RVZ John, N0TRP Jim, and KB9er QDG Carl. Make one more call for radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin in the letters P through T, Papa through Tango. Please call now. All right, move on down the alphabet, and radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters U through Z, uniform through Zulu. Please call now.
KF0UV, Marshall in Glendale.
Kilo Bravo 0 Uniform India Golf, Michael G, Edgewater.
November 0 X-Ray Romeo X-Ray Mark in Arvada.
Kilo 0 Yankee Echo Sierra, Ken in Broomfield.
Kilo Echo 0, Yankee Kilo Victor, Bill in Lakewood.
Kilo Delta 0 Whiskey Mike Oscar, Steve in Aurora.
And Net Control, like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-ins. KF0 UV Marshall, KB0 UIG Michael, N0 XRX Mark, K0 YES Ken, KE0 YKV Bill, and KD0 WMO Steve. Hey Steve, haven't heard you in a long time. Welcome back. Make one more call for radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters U through Z, uniform through Zulu. Please call out.
Kilo Alpha 0 Victor Bravo Alpha, Curtis in Lakewood, clear.
And Net Control would like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-in. KE0 VBA Curtis. And let me open up the complete alphabet. Radio amateurs whose call suffixes begin letters A through Z, Alpha through Zulu. Please call now.
Kilo Foxtrot 0 Alpha Foxtrot Quebec, Troy, Denver.
Kilo Echo 0 Mike Golf Tango, Don in Aurora.
P4 Papa Romeo Golf, W0PRG, Nolan Thornton.
And Net Control, like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-ins. KF0 AFQ Troy, KE0 MGT Don, and I believe, excuse me, it's awful fast, but I think it was K4 PRG Nolan. Did I get that right?
W0TX Repeater.
Negative, it's Whiskey for Papa Romeo Golf, W4PRG.
All right, thank you, W4PRG. All right, there'll be a chance for late check-ins a little later in the net. And next, I'd like to invite our club president, Jerry Bill Howard, W0GV, to go through and cover club business. Go ahead, Jerry, the net is yours.
Okay, Jim, well, thanks for doing the net. Welcome, everybody. Been another pretty quiet week. Don't really have much to tell you. We did get our 220 repeater back from the warranty repair, so presently it's being checked out and make sure everything is like we want it before we put it back in service. But our old standby 220 in and operating, so we're on the air there still. And we'll be getting the news out within the next day or so about our next month's meeting and program, so look for that. And I don't have much else. It's, like I say, been pretty quiet, which is not all bad. So back to you, Jim. 7-3, everybody, W0GV.
All right, thanks very much, Jerry. And let's see, I do not see anybody that indicated they had traffic when they checked in, unless I missed them. This is the Denver Radio Club Net, W0TX, and this is K0TR Net Control Station. Does anyone have any other comments, information, or business for the net? If so, please call now.
This is KF0CBL, Kilo Foxtrot 0, Charlie Baker Lima, Ed from Arvada, just doing a late check-in.
And KF0CBL, Ed, got you checked in. Thank you. I'll make one more call. Does anyone have any other comments, information, or business for the net? Please call now. All right, do we have any late check-ins? Please call now.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Bravo Alpha Kilo, David in Lakewood.
And Net Control, I'd like to acknowledge and welcome the following check-ins. K1DBC Drone with traffic, and KF0BAK David. Go ahead, Drone, with your traffic. K1DBC, this K02R. Thanks, Jerome. We appreciate that. Sound like lively discussions, which is good. All right, before I move on, let me make one more call. Do we have any other late check-ins? Please call now. review next weekend's contests and upcoming Hamfests. Don't have any upcoming Hamfests, so we'll clear that one in a hurry. Let's see, the contest we got, first one I have here on the calendar is a PODXS 070 Club PSK 31 contest. That begins on April the 3rd at 1,000 hours Zulu, goes through April the 4th until 0400 hours Zulu. That's on 20 meters. We have the Louisiana QSO party. That one begins on April 3rd at 1400 hours Zulu, goes through April 4th until 0200 hours Zulu. That's on 160 through 2 meters. That's a CW digital and phone contest. Next we have the Mississippi QSO party. It begins on April 3rd at 1400 hours Zulu, goes through April 4th until 0200 hours Zulu. That's also 160 through 2 meters. That's a CW phone and digital contest. Next, we have the Florida State Parks on the air. It begins on April 3rd at 1400 hours Zulu, goes through April 4th until 2200 hours Zulu. That's on 80 through 10 meters, and that's CW phone and digital contest. Next, we have the SPDX contest. It begins on April 3rd at 1500 hours Zulu, goes through April 4th until 1500 hours Zulu. That's on 160 through 10 meters. That's a CW and phone contest. Next, we have the EA RTTY contest. It begins on April 3rd at 1600 hours Zulu, goes through April 4th until 1600 hours Zulu. That's on 80 through 10 meters, and that's a digital contest. Next, the North American Single Sideband Sprint contest. That begins on April 4th at 0 hours Zulu, goes through April 4th until 0400 hours Zulu. That's on 80 through 20 meters, and that's a phone contest. And lastly, we have the DRC Easter contest. That begins on April 4th at 1500 hours Zulu, goes through April 4th until 1730 hours Zulu. That's on 80 and 40 meters as CW and phone contest. A couple other reminders. The High Noon Net, they meet daily at 12 noon with early check-ins beginning at 11:30. They meet on a frequency of 7.240 megahertz on the 40-meter band. And the Salvation Army Saturn Net, they meet at 1500 hours Zulu. That's 9 a.m. on Mountain Daylight Time. They meet Monday through Saturday on a frequency of 14.265 megahertz, which is on the 20-meter band.
W0TX repeater.
The Denver Radio Club maintains the found repeaters for use by all radio emitters. 147.330 megahertz with a positive offset, 145.490 megahertz with a negative offset, 224.380 megahertz with a negative offset, the 449.350 megahertz with a negative offset, the 448.625 megahertz with a negative offset, the 447.825 megahertz with a negative offset. Our digital turbo repeater operating on Brandmeister on 446.7875 megahertz with a negative offset, and our C4 FM digital repeater on 449.775 megahertz with a negative offset. The 447.825 megahertz repeater is configured for narrowband FM, and that requires a digital coded squelch of 073. There are two repeaters on 147.330 megahertz. The repeater in Lakewood requires a 100 hertz PO tone, and a second repeater located east near Franktown requires a 131.8 hertz PO tone. We have a second repeater on the same frequency out east to improve coverage along the Front Range and into the canyons. However, having two repeaters on the same frequency with different frequency propagation, we ask that you monitor the frequency to assure neither is in use prior to making your call. The 449.350 megahertz repeater provides wide area coverage, and this repeater hosts our Echolink station, W0TX, node number 4140. And the 448.625 megahertz repeater is linked with a 145.490 megahertz repeater. Repeater at 449.775 is now a C4 FM digital-only repeater. Each repeater requires a 100 Hz PL tone for activation, except as noted, and each uses standard offsets. And for packet, we have the 145.050 megahertz gateway on 2 meters that is interconnected with the 14.105 megahertz gateway on 20 meters for packet QSO. And we have a 6 meter repeater at 53.09 megahertz with an input on 52.09 megahertz with a required 107.2 hertz PL tone. Your support of the Denver Radio Club is greatly appreciated. If you'd like to participate in any of the many club activities, please contact our club president, Jerry Vilhauer, W0GV. I would like to thank everyone for checking into the Denver Radio Club Net tonight. Your support is greatly appreciated. I hope you have a great week, 7-3. And tonight we had a total of 34 check-ins, and the Denver Radio Club W0TX Net is now closed at 9:05, and repeater is available for regular use. This is K0TR Net Control Station. Please stand by a moment while I return the PL tone to the repeater.
PL on.
And this is K02R Net Control Station. I'll be clear. Goodbye to all.